When you are so happy in your own energy, people feel that, and it's so weird.
You're like
Ladies,
a magnet.
if you're single, the men come, the new girlfriends come, like everyone comes because people gravitate towards that energy because it's so abundant.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Earn Your Happy podcast. And I know you have skin goals this year. I don't know. I have a feeling that you want dewier, glowier, more youthful skin. And if not, hey, tell me your secrets. But if you're looking for an all-in-one stop because you're like me and you don't like to have a 10-step skin routine, I'm telling you, go check out Glossy because it is all about the probiotic and the oral hyaluronic acid. And you guys, if you're using topical hyaluronic acid, you can really only spot treat areas with it where oral hyaluronic acid goes all over your body, which is amazing because we want that nice, dewy, hydrated, youthful skin all over. So you guys, today on the podcast, I have Ayesha Sehra. She's the ultimate connector, founder of branding, PR, and talent management agency Grow the Social, host of Coffee and a Good Vibe podcast. She's just the ultimate hustler, but also just heart and soul connector. I mean that in the best way possible. I share how we met in this episode. So to give you an idea of who this woman is, she moved from Canada, risking everything to build her business, follow her dream, and make as many connections as possible. I relate to this so much after moving to LA from the Midwest to pursue a dream. And if you're wanting to build your network and be seen on a bigger level and make sure you're honoring your boundaries so you don't have to drive yourself to burnout, we cover it all in this episode. She shares how she built her PR agency from the ground up and gives us her tips for forging meaningful relationships, setting healthy yet loving boundaries, and designing a life that truly lights you up. If you've listened to the podcast before, you know what a believer I am in creating genuine connections and networking. And if you're wanting to call in some big opportunities and connections and accountability this year, we're sharing tips that have literally changed both of our lives. We also share visualization exercises, personal development practices we do on the regular, and talk about the role prayer and manifestation has played in both of our success. So let's get started. Ayesha, I'm so excited to have you on the Earn Your Happy podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much for having me. Truly, I've listened to your podcast since I was in college.
That is so crazy to me.
Early days.
I
was actually trying to find screenshots in my phone from your OG podcast artwork because I would screenshot things I was listening to, post it on my story back in the so long ago, and I was trying to find the screenshots last night.
Was it the one, did you listen way back when it was red lipstick leaning on the counter with a coffee cup? It was my first art.
I have to see it.
I was like, ooh, I like this picture, maybe with an iPhone. I don't even know.
What year did you start it? What year?
It was 2016. Yeah, because I think it's been 8 years. So
see, it takes time for anything to grow.
Oh, yes, it does. People are like, oh, wow, you've exploded in this area. I'm like, it's been 10 years. So, and it's good. It takes time for you to grow in that. So I'm really excited to chat about all that you are doing because you are such a hustler. And I don't know how you feel about that word, but I love the word, but
I like it too.
It's done you do it in such a beautiful way. So one of the things that I want to get into later on is just really talking about how you have had this beautiful ability to create incredible relationships with people. But I want to go back to kind of when I got to spend a little bit of time with you. I have a funny story for you. So I'm like, oh, you listen to my podcast. Then, I remember you in my inbox a few times and the energy of the email was so incredibly good. But at the time, I think you had asked a couple times to go to LA for what you do with Coffee and a Good Vibe, which is, your podcast, but also you do this live podcast version, which I didn't really know what it was. I was like, oh, cool. I do live podcasts. How fun. Except my live podcasts are smaller. There you just drop in, you hang out, you have this conversation. So I think I was kind of reading the email from that perspective. I'm like, fun. Okay, yeah. When this works in my schedule, I'll totally go up because I love this girl's energy. You just have that really giving girl's girl, like, how can I help you? You lead with that type of energy. So when it finally worked out, when we were in Newport Beach, I'm like, great, I'll go up there. So I'm like not thinking about it at all. I'm just like, I'll drop in. Like, this will be such a fun conversation. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I roll with the punches. And I get in there and I'm like, wow, this room's a little bit bigger than like the 30 people I kind of thought that were coming. Like, I didn't really know what was going on. And then I'm on this panel to talk about like my journey as, I guess, the beginning of Glow. See, I'm at the very beginning, right? I'm like month 3 in the launch or something. It was so new. And all of a sudden I meet this guy who I've never met before. And they're like, oh my God, he's so successful. His company makes hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm like, I'm on the panel next to him talking with my little baby launch. And I was spiraling so hard. I was like, why am I here? Who am I to do this? Oh my God, look at these people who are walking in. There's like some celebrities, there's some influencers. I just thought I was here for a 30-person like living room style conversation. And so I said a prayer the second I sat down, and you were so amazing. I met your family. Your dad was freaking awesome. I was like, okay, we're going to be all good. Daddy's here. He's got me. Like, her dad's great. Her family's amazing. I felt very held. And then I just said a little prayer once we got on panel because of, I was like, okay, why am I here? I'm like, not the question to ask. I was like, okay, God. I said, all I can do is speak to the people in the audience from what I know, and I can help them with, like, I can only tell them from my perspective, like, to be able to help them, that maybe I'm the person in the room to help the people who are at the very beginning or who are afraid to take that initial leap. Like, let me speak from that place. Do not let me try to be something that I'm not. I was like, just fully let me sink in. And I'm telling you, it was like the most calm came over me, and it's like I let go. I was able to hear all of them and appreciate them for exactly where they were, to feel like I belonged. And I had an amazing experience. And then I had people come up after, of course, and say like, it was so amazing to have somebody who's right there that I could relate to at this point in the journey. And I was
it came across so genuine, like in that room.
Thank you.
There was one question that you answer, I still remember it like it was yesterday, and I like feel your heart in it. And you talked about it with what you just explained with the imposter syndrome and how you felt when you came into the room. And it was in a Q&A, I believe you got thrown the question, and the way you answered it and the way being a host, like in the live room, it's so crazy how like your presence is your power in that moment, because you really have to read the room. You have to like look at the audience to see if they're engaged, if you need to cut certain things short in your programming. Totally. Like, you just got to really read the room, and the whole room was so dropped in at you when you were answering that. And it was because it was so real. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, I listen to so many podcasts. I listen to all the personal development stuff. I like look up to, I have so many mentors that I look up to in person. Like, now that I'm in LA, there's so many amazing people that I have access to, but then also just like online. Yeah. And, I hear it, I see it, I like take notes, but it's like when someone speaks to you, like where you are, and they see you where you are, and you can feel them, like that they understand you, you take that information and that value in such a different way and you apply it. And I just know the amount of people in that room who probably left that day and applied it, and you'll see them again, their life has changed because it hits so differently when you said it.
I just want to thank you for that like amazing experience and opportunity. And also for me to get to see you in your zone of genius was so fun. Like, how can someone be standing in a room of all of those people who would intimidate the living crap out of just about anyone, and to be so down to earth and talk to them like they're your best friend, and take the room? And what I noticed you're able to do is like really transmute the energy in the room and just make it like, oh, okay, that's what we're going to be today. Like, we're going to be friendly to everyone. We're going to drop in with everyone. So I think that is an absolute superpower. And there's no question in my mind why you're so successful in what you're doing. So let's chat about that. Of course, you have this amazing podcast, and we'll talk about all the human stuff. But for 1 second, I need braggadocious version of just your proud self, of what you're proud of right now and what your business is.
Well, thank you for that. That's so sweet. Where do I begin? I have this podcast, Coffee and a Good Vibe, which kind of really, like, the event started so much from the journey.
Yeah.
So my name's Ayesha. I live in LA. I'm from Canada, Toronto. So anyone who's like also Canadian or from another environment, town, state, you get it. Like I just did not grow up in an environment like LA.
She's a Canadian in LA, which is exactly like a Midwesterner in LA, which I am.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
I see
Tim
Hortons.
I see you.
I'm like going home next week for the holidays because as we're recording, it's the holiday season. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get my Tim Hortons, my $1 coffee. Like,
yeah, she's got her holiday hair on right now, which is real good.
You do too, Missy.
I'm trying.
Yeah. But truly, like, from an area like outside Toronto where, you know, I did not grow up in this environment. And when I wanted to move here and started that journey, which I can like share about, it was very clear to me, like, this is a different world you're operating in. People are very different here, not in a bad way, but like in a different way. You're stepping into owning a company, you're stepping into starting, building, scaling a company. Like, you are not in a small pond, you are in a big ocean. Yeah. And you need to learn how to swim with the sharks.
Yeah.
And be able to hold your own and do it in ways where you don't lose yourself.
Exactly.
But you really like build yourself and you be your best version. Because one of the things that I hold myself to like such a high standard with is like, I have a PR agency here and I know people in PR, you have to be a shark. You have to be the way that you need to be in order to like scale this company, but I'm going to do it with grace. I'm going to do it with kindness. And now that I'm even growing in my own way, which I know we'll get into these types of things, but with setting boundaries and really healing certain things that don't serve me anymore, I'm just setting boundaries with love. I'm like not cutting people out of your life, but like being really, really cautious and aware of who I'm surrounding myself with, but with so much intention, and then creating those changes with genuine love and intention.
Yeah.
But long story short, so when I was 21, I decided I wanted to live in LA. And as a Canadian, you cannot move to a new country. You have to have status, you have to be an American or have a visa. So that planted me down the journey of, you know, figuring out what I wanted to do in the States and having a really solid plan. And I always share this because even though I don't go into the nitty gritty of like the visas, it's important because you understand like why I had so much hustle and why I still hustle so hard because of this journey. So long story short, I decided I wanted to live here. My family, so supportive, best friends, they live in Canada. They're like, hey, if you're going to do this, do it the right way. Like, go figure it out and we'll support you no matter what. But like, you got to have a plan. You can't just move there and you just have to do it the right way. So after like looking at everything of, okay, what's my purpose? I want to be an entrepreneur. The best avenue was doing an E2 visa. And some countries have this. So Canada and the US basically have this treaty where Canadians can start and scale and invest in a company here in the States. It could be your own or it could be another company like a franchise. Yeah. And you invest X amount of dollars and you basically build this company up to working order. So I had to create a 5-year business plan because 5 years is what you're pitching your visa for. And in 5 years, you have to show how much economic stimulation am I building in this economy? What is my company? What is the gap in the market? I want to have a business.
We should have to do that as Americans.
Yeah. That's why I like share this
how
because it
stimulate the economy, American.
Who are you going to hire? Yeah. What types of people are you serving? It's truly like an entrepreneur. I felt like I went to school for like an entrepreneur degree and I had to create a thesis and a paper. That's what it felt like. And I had I only had a couple months to do it because I was here in the States, like as a Canadian, like you're allowed to like travel in for leisure for travel. So I was like sussing it out, like figuring it out. And you had to do like a whole report on like the competitive landscape of like other agencies and why yours was going to be a competitive advantage and why they should basically prove to the US consulate that was going to look at your papers, why they should give this girl this visa to go execute on this business plan. Yeah. And it showed everything from like employment you were going to produce, types of clients you're going to work with. You had to show clients that would sign and work with your company. So when they gave you this visa, you're good to go. And it's wild, but that whole thing really shows like it really makes sense of like why I had this hustle and also why I had such certainty and such a clear plan, because I think you have to be, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to be obsessed with what you're doing. You have to believe in it like no other, and you have to also have, like, you don't have to know the A to Z plan, but you do have to understand how you're different and what's your unique differentiator and how are you serving people different. And doing all that work when I was like 21, 22, lit such a fire. And it's so wild because this year, actually like a month ago, I just got my renewal. And it's wild how this year hit up all those emotions of like what I felt when I was going through this. And the company's evolved over the years. And I will say, like, what was on the business plan, as you know, like everything changes. The economy changes. We went through COVID, like so many things that I had on the plan, I projected. But as long as they see the company growth, they see what you're doing, and you're busy with clients, like the visa will get renewed, but it's just, it did pivot and evolve over the years. And now I have a PR agency that operates in LA and New York, and we work with brands and talent. So our main niche with talent is thought leaders. So people who have a message and a brand to get out to the world. They want to be on podcasts. They want to speak on shows. They want to work with amazing brands that are so aligned to them. And they maybe also have products, because then our company does all the PR elements of scaling their CPG brand. So we do really cool influencer brand events. We do PR mailers. We do influencer campaigns. We do celebrity and talent seeding, lots of stuff. But through growing a network, because I think PR is all about your network and your Rolodex of connections and making these abundant connections for your clients. Through all the connections that I made, the event started because I worked my ass off on building community, from knowing not one person to now having, you know, I think I always say, like, if I don't know them, I will know them. So I'll know them soon. So I'm like, I make sure I want to know everyone. Everyone has this joke, like, Aisha's the one mutual when they connect with any person on Raya, or like they see anyone, they're in
one mutual friend.
And I like think it's so funny because everyone has that joke. But I started these events to truly be a melting pot of all these amazing relationships and connections. So I call them industry events, but it's premised on coffee and a good vibe. We just bring together good vibes, good people, good energy, and it's a melting pot. I work in the brand space. We produce events for brands, and as they should, brands have niches, right? Like, I'm sure if you did a brand for your company, it would be all women in the powerhouse women, amazing, and that's amazing. So I wanted to do these events where it's not just like one, it's a melting pot, but it's on brand for us to do it like that. So they're these big industry nights. So it's founders, people in media, business owners, and a lot of talent. That's where the celebrity talent comes. Like, kind of, it's a melting pot of goodness, because I always said, like, when I am able to, I want to be able to put these events on once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, on, like, from my company doing it, for the goodness of people just connecting and building relationships. Because, you know, when I moved here, I remember how difficult it was to find events like that.
Now you're doing them for people with a great energy, which is so refreshing. Because when I first moved to LA, I was going to a few events and I was like, oh man, this is not it. Like, it was,
and you created yours.
We did it out of a need, right? We were like, this is not it. How do we create this for people who are like us, who really want to connect and find out what they need and how we can help each other? So let's dig in a little bit to, you know, I think people can they can be listening to you going, number one, oh my gosh, she's so young to have created that success and have such a sense of self. Because even, you know, listening to you through your story and what you all had to go through, you had a major sense of self at a young age. I'm sure people tell you you're an old soul?
Yeah, people always tell me that.
How have you been able to come to Los Angeles? Because I do really feel like Canadians and Midwesterners are so alike with core values and just like how we were raised, and the weather, and which also hardens you. But how have you been able to like keep that strong sense of self, not get caught up in like wanting to be really popular or turning into someone else, or, you know, like losing yourself? How have you been able to do that?
It's such a good question, because I think it's not talked about enough, because that's everything, right? You're only going to grow to your next level or even like accomplish all these things on your vision board if you are connected to self. And even in my career right now, I think that the opportunities being in PR, it's like really cool things. Like I can look at my calendar and be like, whoa, this is actually so unreal to like go to this brand experience or like go to like a nylon event and have this. You have to continue to ground back to self in these moments where it's like even more big dangly carrots.
Totally.
And it all stems back to the personal development practices that I've had. I started listening to your podcast when I was like in college because it truly, you and Lewis House, both of you.
Love him.
And I just met him like a month ago and I told him, I was like, I'm OG with your podcast. Like it's so wild how all these tools play such a role and how you digest it. You know, you could read books. I love to listen to podcasts because then I would like listen. And your quickies were the best because I would just
during your makeup
you listen and it's so digestible because it's like not 60 minutes of things I gotta do and get overwhelmed. It was just like one thing. And I think over time now I have I love routines and people are like, oh, your morning routine's so long. And I'm like, yeah, but I built off of it. Like it started with probably me like doing reflection on gratitude and journaling my thoughts. And it kept building from there. And there's been a couple, like I can give maybe like 3 big things that I still do to this day that's been a game changer, but it all stems to my personal development practices. And I will just say like when I have been in rough times, like moving to a new country and feeling so alone and feeling like the world's against you and feeling, oh my gosh, I have no money and feeling like all that resistance, that's when you double down on those tools because it's so easy to be grateful and write a gratitude list when everything's going great. But like, can you lean on gratitude and in these practices when you don't want to do them? That's where the shifts I felt really happened.
So would you say it's the same thing like for a woman who's listening right now, who's like, can't even wrap her brain around like what you did and is just starting to think about branching out and making friends or contacts for her business, but doesn't even know like what her sense of self is yet? What would you say to her?
Oh, I would say, okay, every single day, create a pocket of solitude time for you. Like date yourself. So this could be fun. This could be like you in the morning, like just having, I love to like make like a nice coffee and play some nice music on my Sonos and like sit with myself. I like simple though. Like it's like literally I'll have a blank journal. Yeah. But you can also take yourself on a coffee date and sit with yourself, go on a walk in nature, like anything that allows you to just be still with your own energy. So you can just start talking to yourself. Yeah. And I literally talk to myself. Like when I go on walks, when I'm driving, like you got to be your own best friend. And when you start to get to know yourself and start to nurture yourself and be kind to yourself and then think through like, oh, what are these thoughts that are coming up? Why do I not feel like I can create the business of my dreams or move to a new country or state or take a trip by myself or talk to this person that I really want to connect with and start to unwrap that and then have and look at that and then have positive self-talk to yourself. I think that's the baseline of everything. It's like to start to build a relationship with yourself and creating space for yourself. Because I think a lot of us, especially in today's economy, like we're go, 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 go. Yeah. I notice this when I'm in New York. I'll be like, so go, go, go. And I like lose myself. I'm just like, okay, girl, you got to check in with yourself for a second.
Yeah. Cause you're like not, I obviously have been in New York and I've had times in my life where it was go, go, go. And you're not checking in with yourself. So there's no awareness of, have I changed from this last big experience I just went through or from this, because we're always going through like these big transitional experiences in our life, in our business, in our relationships. And if you don't check in to see who you are now on the other side, like there's kind of not an awareness. And I have some girlfriends right now who they're either, they're getting a divorce or their marriage is kind of falling apart and they're in a complete phase of discovery because they realized that they haven't even like ask themselves, what kind of food do I even like? Like I was just doing this because that's what we did or he did. What do I even enjoy doing alone? I don't even know because everything we did was like this compromise of together, which is beautiful. But when you're all of a sudden you realize that, I've found that when Chris and I have that separately, our relationship gets so much better. I am so excited to share this next podcast sponsor with you because I am not even kidding you. Chris and I were just on a walk last month and we were talking about how we want to get separate phone lines for our business phones because we feel like we're missing things in our business, and we also want to set boundaries with the time frame that we are answering messages, and we want to really have that line between personal and business hours as well. And you guys know that running a small business means that you're wearing all of the hats, and your personal phone literally becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customers all day long, all night long. And if you coach people, especially, or you text people on your phone, this is really where it starts to feel like it becomes impossible to manage with your personal number. And that's where Open Phone comes in. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system. They'll help you separate your personal life from your growing business. So for just $15 a month, the cost of a few coffees, maybe 2 coffees for me, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. So Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with HubSpot and hundreds of other systems. They use AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a summary of your phone call with action items as soon as you hang up. And if you miss a call, automated messages are sent directly to your customer, meaning you'll never miss an opportunity to engage with them. So they also have won multiple awards by G2 for software reviews and are trusted by over 50,000 businesses. So right now, OpenPhone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/earn. That's OpenPhone, OPENPHONE.com/earn for 20% off for 6 months. Openphone.com/earn. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. The start of a new year is the perfect time to get organized. And if you guys didn't know, I choose a word every single new year. And my word this year is actually organized. So it's huge to set goals and prioritize what really matters most. And for me this year, it is organization, systems, and streamlining. And so it's a top priority for everything that I'm about to tell you and my financial wellness, which feels more important than ever. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel super achievable, and they show me all of my subscriptions of everything that I have right in one place. And it helps me easily cancel ones that I forgot I've been paying for. I know that you guys are probably doing this right now on your phone. Rocket Money pulls all together, all of my spending across all of my different accounts, so I can clearly track my spending habits and see where I can cut back. And Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. So for ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all accounts. You can easily create a personalized budget with custom categories to help keep your spending on track. See your monthly spending trends in each category to know exactly where your money's going. Get alerts if bills increase in price and there's unusual spending activity, or if you're close to going over your budget. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/EYH today. That's rocketmoney.com/EYH. rocketmoney.com/EYH.
One of the things that I've done this year that has made the biggest change in my life, that has made me so much happier and more productive, is to designate days of the week for certain things. So some days are my creative days, some days are my podcast days, my meeting days, my planning for mastermind days, or our programs, whatever it is. I have them all set so that my brain really uses a certain part of my brain on those days. But let me tell you what doesn't change. That is how much I log into Shopify every day. I use Shopify as the platform for Glossy, and I'm so grateful because it makes it so easy for me to actually see every single customer, what is working, where they came from. It's literally life-changing. And I know that you've probably been a customer who has had an incredible experience on Shopify because they make the shopping experience so easy. And let me just tell you, this is what you want for your customer because too many people are lost in the process. So you can upgrade your business and get the same checkout that we use at Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/happy. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/happy to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/happy.
So to like check in and like, oh no, this Friday, can this be like a me day? And then Saturday's a you day. And it lets you kind of keep that individuality. But my God, the awareness thing. You're so right.
It's like if it feels uncomfortable in the beginning, that's so good. Yes. Because that just means like it's going to get better and better. And also when you start to become your own best friend first, people, and you're like in this energy of, I'm good as I am. I'm good to go for coffee with someone or without. I'm good to go for a dinner and sit alone. And when you are so happy in your own energy, people feel that. And it's so weird.
You're like
ladies,
a magnet.
if you're single, the men come, the new girlfriends come, like everyone comes because people gravitate towards that energy because it's so abundant and you're so unattached.
Oh my God. Even with podcasting before I come in here, right? I do like a little practice in my car or wherever I'm recording. And I try to like not ever need or want an outcome or need something from you today. Like I'm like, oh, let me just be so interested in her and like, what can I give her? And that is such a different vibe of, I want this podcast to turn out this way. I want us to talk about this. It's such a different energy. So how do you walk into a room? Let's say you're going to a big party tonight. We know that. How do you like check yourself before you walk into a room to be that person that you want to be?
I love that. I feel like we very much are similar in this. Prayer is everything. We both adore Gabrielle Bernstein. A prayer is a pathway to miracles. And I really believe that. I pray every time I go into a big meeting, into a room. I pray a lot. Well, every single morning, but like, especially when I'm going through times where I just need support. Sometimes, actually a lot of times, my calendar is like insane. And sometimes I'm just like, wow, I'm just praying for support that I go through this day with ease. Like nothing dangerous happens to me when I'm driving on the road or frantic or like just running around. I just pray for ease and grace. And it's so crazy because the second you take a second to say a prayer, you feel that instant rush of grace around you. You just like feel a different energy.
You really do.
And prayer is for me everything. Like before I go into anything, before I begin a day, I pray. And it's a different prayer every day. And I think once you start, I would even adopt prayers. Like Gabrielle Bernstein has a lot of prayers from her books that I used to adopt and recite in the beginning of my journey. And then now I just make my own prayers and my own affirmations.
Same. I like had to learn how to do it and kind of the feeling.
And I keep them in a note on my phone. If I read a prayer that I really like, she has a really good one before she speaks on stages. And that's in my phone. Honestly, I would read that one before I go on stage. And you can call on different archangels for certain support, for certain things you need. I'm very in that world. I love it. And so prayer is number one for me. And I also think the other thing is like exactly what you said, but I surrender everything to the highest good. Because I think when we go in with our own agendas or we have expectations, you can lead to disappointment. Yeah. And having your own intention, but making that intention rooted in the highest good of all.
Yeah. And you can miss what's for you. Like you could walk into a room and be like, oh, I really need to connect with this person because I know they'd be so great to connect with this other person. And what can happen is when we make that the like whole point of being in the room, we might miss this person who knew both of them who was about to have a dinner that you could have been invited to, but you blocked it.
Or it's like you're at a big event and then there's this list of people you need to meet. Like I feel like people say this to me about my events because there's like so many people they wanted to, and after I get like all these emails of like, hey, I saw this person, can you connect me formally? And I think sometimes it's not the timing. Like living in LA, I'll like go to an Air One and then I'll see someone who maybe we cross paths in similar circles and like there've been someone on my radar.
Is a grocery store here that's a very popular celebrity-esque grocery store where you just go to people
every time
watch.
you go, you'll see someone.
You'll see somebody,
yeah. But sometimes they're grocery shopping or they're getting a smoothie and it's not the time.
It's not the time.
They're hangry and you could read the energy.
The body language is like, don't come over here.
So whenever that happens, like whenever I see someone, like say there's someone I'm in a good mood of wanting to connect and I'm at the gym and I see someone and I'm like on the treadmill, like able to chalk and I just trust. I'm like, no, I can feel that. No. There'll be another time. Almost like having this like trust in the universe.
Yes.
Like there'll be another time where you'll connect and it'll be the setting where it'll be set up for you by the universe. Like you'll be at a dinner and maybe it's 3 months online. Maybe you have to be patient and they're seated beside you.
See, this is so important to talk about because you can't miss what's for you. And you can feel, now I have absolutely been on this side before. So when I talk about this, I'm not just pointing fingers. This is absolutely what my journey, like I had to go through as well.
Too. Especially when you move to a new country and you have nothing.
Totally.
Oh my God, I would be that person and be like, how do you talk to you?
I can feel now, like if I have an event, I can feel someone in the back who's like, you're not getting out of my sight. Like, we're going to talk.
You felt like that at my event.
No. Oh my God, no. This was the best. I mean, that was the best. Are you kidding me? Like, I was there for all of it. I like loved it. But I can tell when that person has an agenda and they want to get it done and they're like, will you come on my podcast? I'm like, I'm hosting an event right now. Like I'm literally in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the right time to ask. And I never say that, but I'm just like, that's a journey for them. I've done it before because they're not yet trusting that if that's going to happen, that could have been a beautiful connection. And then you wait and then you can ask at a time where maybe they're not in the middle of something.
In that first connection, they remember you as the woman or the man who had the beautiful energy and just gave the nicest compliment.
Oh, for sure.
It's like it's not received in because people can feel that energy. It comes back to that energy.
Definitely.
They can feel that attached, it's like a scarcity energy.
For sure. And just for anyone listening, I've had people go, oh my God, I think I've done that too. I'm like, I have done it to many, many people. And also sometimes it is the right vibe because maybe we just had the best girlfriend convo and you're like, hey, it's one of my goals to have you like this. I'm just throwing it out there. Great. So cute. Wonderful. Love that. Let's talk later. But that feeling with your clients, which I think this is a great segue to talking about like, I think when people meet you, you just feel so approachable in that really girlfriend energy and that like pure heart of service that having boundaries for someone like you can be extra challenging because people sense that and they just can have a major potentially taking energy, not on purpose, but because it feels very open and maybe they have something they really want. So for you, how have you learned how to get boundaries and have you felt like those boundaries have been crossed?
You are like seeing through me. It's like you're in my phone.
Because I feel like I have been you.
I literally am like, have you looked at my text? I will like joke with people. Like I'll be at a coffee or a podcast and my phone's down. Then after and I'm in PR, I'm like as sad as it is, I'm like on my emails and my text because you kind of have to be as like a manager and like on opportunities. We have so many things happening in one given day with like clients here, clients there, this shoot, they gotta know here, and everyone will come to you. Yeah. And we're working on that right now with like the team growth and clients understanding like she's not your main point of contact when you like don't have it's all in their calendars too. But anyways, with that, it's like when yes, I have like a lot of clients that our agency works with, but then because I'm the connector and people come to me for everything, I will look at my phone in an hour and I'll have all these asks and I'm grateful for this because it's a blessing and a curse. Someone's like, I just had this happen yesterday. A huge person in TV and media, someone just was like, they need XXX in their growth right now. I'm going to connect you with Ayesha. And like sometimes these connections I get asked before they text intro.
Yes.
But lately I don't. So like I'll look at my phone and it's like a joke with people like when they see after an hour, like the text of like connections, people asking for help. It just is a lot. David, who's coming on your podcast, it's like, I'm getting you a new phone with a new number and no one's gonna have it because my phone's permanently on do not disturb.
Right.
So you can never call me. I can only call the text and everything I can see.
Right.
But with that, I'm really in this mode right now. I'm even like working with someone now since we last spoke on removing all guilt associated with feeling the need to respond to everyone.
Yeah. Because
I cannot scale and I've had to reprogram this. So I have to reprogram my whole view on how because my whole little self is like, you built a business because you're there for everyone.
Yes.
You connect everyone. You connect the dots.
Everyone needs to hear this. Yes.
And that's how I built my business. And still to this day, my business grows from like me making connections and helping it all work. But if I'm in the weeds so much like I was, like where I'm going in 2025 and the next year, I'm not in the weed. Like I can't be like that anymore.
What you built on is not going to get you to where you want to go.
Level. Mm-hmm. And it's been so difficult because it's been triggering for people as well, like who don't respect that.
Totally.
So I've had to really reprogram and be my own best friend and be my own supporter and saying like, okay, so basically every time I'm like setting a boundary or I'm doing something for myself, like not responding, I'm working on boundaries with my phone with where I cut it off at a certain time, and even in the morning not checking and doing the ask for people, like keeping that to a block of my day. And then after I do that block, if I didn't hit it in like an hour block, then it'll go the next day. And
like
if I
letting it go.
Yeah. Because you cannot. It'll be impossible for where I want to go. I'll have a million requests.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I learned that in network marketing because it was like what built my business. Being available 24/7
Huge team
was destroying my soul later. You know, because that's we had 260,000 people in our downline, like who they're like, well, I'm in your downline, you should help me, because it keeps growing and growing from people that come in. And if people know,
and you're like the face of it too,
right.
So like they think you're approachable and at their disposal as well.
For sure. And in the beginning, that's how I felt like I had to be. And that's what built it in the beginning. So I so feel you on that. I'm like, if I change this and they know me as the approachable girl and the girl next door and relatable, and like I have to stay that way, and how do you have boundaries and be that way? Oh my God, it was like one of the hardest things I've ever done. And then I went through the whole thing where, you get people who kind of are close to you who start to say things like, oh, now you're too good for us. Or, oh, you can't, come hang out with the girls every Wednesday. Like, oh, I see, you're only hanging out with people who are going to serve your next, like whatever you want, like your goal. And now you've ditched us. And that was super painful for me. And, looking back, it was not necessarily like, oh, you're ditching these people. They just were not in the energy that I wanted to be in, like the energy of building. They weren't in the energy of like just abundance of any of those things that I wanted, because you start to outgrow people. So can you share a little bit about when those things happen? Like when you get hurt by people who especially you felt like knew your character, and when it's like a character judgment, how do you get over that?
Well, there's a couple of practices I've been doing. So I think every single day, and I'm supposed to do this morning and night. Okay. Like even someone I'm working with is like, you should be doing this, clocking them at night too. So there's two things, and it's so fresh. So like, I'm hoping I'm not like sharing these, and I hope it's like, it's going to hit. But the one thing that I'm doing is making lists and reflecting every single day how these pockets where I'm giving to myself and not being at everyone's disposal, and creating these boundaries with certain people in my life, and being super self-aware of like, okay, these people are no longer for, like being comfortable with that. Yeah. I'm rewiring my brain to only focus on what's been the positive of me creating these changes. So I have more energy to give to my clients, my team. The team's the biggest thing. I'm learning that with having a team right now and growing a team. Holy shit, they need you to be a leader and their biggest cheerleader, because if you are like depleted in energy, then they feel that. Yeah. And as the company's been growing, I'm like, wow, I feel more of the burden with the team element in such a positive way. But really looking at this list of like, okay, when I do this, this is the proof of what's happening. Like you creating blocks from, or not removing yourself from relationships that don't serve to create space for these bigger ones, the ones that these people are saying, oh, you're too good for us. Like those new people are your vibe. You're leaving uplifted. They're connecting you to even more abundant, because everyone, your vibe attracts your tribe. And like those new great girlfriends probably know 5 to 10 other great girlfriends, and you're just living this really colorful, vibrant life where you're so happy. And when you look at all the positives of what these things are doing for how you can help be more selfless to others, it really changes your perspective, and those digs don't hurt as much. Because for me, it's like when someone doesn't respect that, well, they don't understand, like, my vision is to serve in a higher capacity. So if I don't do that, I won't be able to fulfill this mission that will help more people.
Yeah.
And the other thing, there was one other thing that it's a new exercise I'm doing. It's playing the what if game. So me setting a boundary with someone, and then let's say they talk shit about me to all my girlfriends.
Totally. We go to worst case scenario. Okay, let's
what
go
if
there.
That happens? She's just gonna go badmouth the other girls to you, and like, what's she gonna say? Like, because you're not gonna set the boundary in a rude way. It's with love,
right?
Like, you just don't have energy, or like right now you're just in this mode, and if they don't respect that, like, they aren't your people. But then those people can also feel, if someone's gossiping about you, I'm sure that those people don't also feel the same way about that. Like, they shouldn't be. All that happens at the end of the day is that person, if they say something poorly about you, that's not true. Because you are a great person, and you're creating these new boundaries with love and setting these new standards, and you're doing it from a place of love and compassion. Like, what are they going to, if they know you, those people that they're bad-mouthing you to, they will know that is not true.
Oh my God. I love those practices. And it is such a practice. Like, you try it once, it doesn't feel great. You try it twice, you're like, okay, at least I'm doing it. 3 times, you're like, all right. Like,
you start seeing the benefit of it. You're like, damn.
Then it's worth it. And doesn't it make it so clear who's for you and who's not? Like, it becomes so clear for me on my girlfriends that I have in my life right now. Like, I could have plans with them, which I try to never break my word ever, unless it's like there is something in my life where I'm like, my soul needs a massive break, or I know that I'm not going to show up the way that I want for this person at all. And maybe I should talk to them and tell them this should have been a no in the first place. I'm so sorry that I did that. But the girlfriends that I have now, I could truly be like, tell them where I'm at, or that I have to like opt out of whatever we did. And they'd be like, great, perfect. Like, you got to do what you need to do, like, for you. And so we're super supportive of each other in that way, because we also know that we're people who would ever only break our word if it was absolutely like necessary for like our life or purpose or soul, So we both love Gabby Bernstein. We talk about scripts with prayers and things like that. What about like scripts with boundaries? How did you start to learn how to like have that conversation, send those texts about boundaries? How many times do you edit your boundary texts?
Oh my gosh. So I feel I'm a quote girl. Like, reading quotes and affirmations has been the biggest thing to like help me with creating boundaries and just trusting, like, okay, this is the benefit of having a healthy boundary, and this is what it's gonna do for me. Like, one of these quotes that I really love is, boundaries are the space where I love me and you love me at the same time.
Oh God, that's a good one.
Isn't that good?
Oh, that is so good. Let's get that tattoo.
Right.
Just like should we get our first neck tat together?
I love it so. I'm right here on the forehead. It's so good. And when I think for every person it's different. Do you have a boundary text?
I feel like I have written so many that I'm pretty clear. A lot of it now comes down to, I have so much on my plate right now. I wouldn't be able to show up in the way that I want for this. Like, thank you so much for the opportunity. I know this is going to be amazing. Or I'm just not able to do it at this time because I'm already trying to unload things on my plate, or I overbooked myself already. Like, and that's the truth. Like, that's the absolute truth. So I found that the more that I did it, the less I actually have been getting asked those things anymore. I believe that when you start to get really good at setting boundaries, people feel it before they even ask.
That's what My friend, my coach is just telling me, she's like, it's an energy thing.
Oh
the
my
fact
God, it's
that
so
everyone
good.
is like pushing the need of the buttons with you right now, it's all a test from the universe right now.
It's so beautiful because for where you are going to go, and you already know this, like where your soul's trajectory and your business trajectory is, you're never going to make it there without the boundaries that you need. So you are getting like thrown literally every person who's like, I'm going to test that.
I also think it's about like another thing that I've been doing with the boundary creation is creating a list of like my boundaries. Like, what are your boundaries? Have you ever asked yourself that? And I'm really working on that right now.
Great question.
Like, do we even know what they are? Like, I understand it's like when people are like, you need space, you don't have all the time in the world to like meet with someone or let them pick your brain or take an opportunity, but what are they? So for me right now, I'm doing like no phone in the morning until like I'm done my workout, done my meditation, and like checking work chats at this time. Even with now having a team, I've learned like the boundaries really play such a bigger role, because in our client chats, like we have all like group channels for the clients. It's like, when you start responding at like 6 a.m. or like 9 p.m., you're always answering really quickly. You're training them that that's okay. Yeah. So I'm really catching myself on this right now because I will work a lot. I'm a workaholic. I love what I do. And if I see something, I like to respond. But then lately I'm learning, like with having the team up, it's like you train people, because then your clients get angry when they don't get a response back from you at 9 p.m. I understand when there's like a thing that's time pressing, totally get that. But I mean like outside of that.
Totally.
So creating those boundaries. Is it like, what time are you going to be looking at your phone? What are you taking an hour in the day to go on a walk and get lunch? Are you taking like time to do, like making a list of the things that you need to do for yourself and creating those boundaries for the time for you? So I think the big thing for me, even right now, it's like, I'm really exploring like, what are these new boundaries I want to set for the new year? And then honoring them is so the other challenge, because it's keeping commitments and commitments with yourself. And then the boundaries will teach other people how to treat you. Yes. But if we don't have them, then you go into a relationship, then other people will make your boundaries.
That's so good to start. So start by asking yourself, what are the boundaries that you even want right now that would help you?
Some people love to look at their phone in the morning.
Totally. Love it. Yeah. Sometimes Saturday morning, do not take my phone because I am shopping on Revolve. I'm looking at all the cute outfits. I just like dumb brain things that just seem really fun and light to me.
It's like me right now in the evenings on TikTok. Yeah. Like I just need to, I don't know. I just like actually shut off.
Yeah. But I'm real estate and clothing. Really? Just, oh my God. I just want to look at houses all day long and clothes.
It's so much about what works for you. Maybe it is doing what I do and putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. All the time, because I don't like seeing the red anything. I
actually do that too. It's always on.
I like look at some people's phones and I'm like, how do you deal with that? Like,
my anxiety just talking about it is going up. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about next levels, because so many women. I predominantly work with a lot of women. I work with some men too, but mostly my audience is a lot of women. I do a lot of events for women, and there are always women in the room who I feel like you have this trait too, where you can just see who people are. Like, you're like, oh my God, you're freaking amazing. Like, how are you not, out there doing all these things? Talk to me about like confronting your next level. How do you know when you're confronting it? Like when you want to go and do something, and how do you start breaking through that? Like, what are some practices that you do to start knowing that you can get past the limitations that are holding you back?
So good. You can tell you've had a podcast for 10 years because you go so good.
I just want to know these answers for me.
I love them so much. Okay, number one, I have like the first thing. The biggest thing first is the vision. Like when I think about my next level, I need to really see it. And I'm all about like looking, like social media is a great thing. It's all how you view it. You see Lori Harder and you're like, damn, I want to have my own Earn Your Happy. I want to have 250 million plus downloads. I want to have a team of this. I want to have a podcast producer. I want to have a husband who's like this and be best friends and also have a business together. What do you see for yourself? And you need to believe it. So I love, and I get so excited. I'm so excited to go home for the holidays because my sister and I are going to go to like a nice hotel or like a cafe.
Fun.
And we're going to vision board the whole year.
Yes.
And I like to get so specific with like, even once I do mine on Pinterest, but like when I like, and I'll pull things like if I want a certain amount, and I'm all about it. Like I know people have their own things with vision boards. Get materialistic and get non-materialistic.
I agree.
Like put the car, put the house, allow yourself to dream.
I have a house on the back here.
Oh, I love it. You gotta allow yourself to dream. I think we gotta give ourselves permission to dream, because if I didn't let myself dream, I would not be in LA. I would not be in the financial state. I would be in like my small, and my parents know I'm a crazy child who like loved to dream growing up. And my mom's like, I'm so happy like we let you do that, and we just, because you did, like they might have their own limiting beliefs, and we'll get into that next. I know they have their own limiting beliefs. Like I heard it all the time because they love me and they would tell me the limiting beliefs because it's all out of love. And I think because I dreamed so big and then I believed in that dream so big, I was able to do it. So first off, give yourself the damn permission to dream.
Yes.
Like put whatever you want on your vision board, because it can happen for you.
That is
huge. And then
huge.
you have to believe it. You have to believe it fully through and through that you can achieve it. And there's a couple things that I like to do. So when I have a vision board, I'm big every single day on a visualization meditation. So depending on certain areas of the board, whether that's career, whether that's financial, whether that's lifestyle, whether that's like whatever part of it, like season you're in, like for me, I've been in such a career season. So I would really marinate on like all elements of my career, like what it looked like, what it felt like. Like right now in 2025, I'm seeing myself like working with a stylist, having a penthouse in New York so I can go to New York and have a spot in New York. I'm visualizing the car I want to have next year. I'm visualizing the team, the office, everything. Everything. And I think the vision board's nice as like, because I know Pinterest doesn't have the exact thing that I want, but like it gets me excited to dream. So every morning when I look at the visual, then in my mind, I do it for 14 minutes every single day. I let myself play in my mind, because your mind has to get there before you do.
Yeah.
And when your mind starts going there every single day or once a week even to start, or once a month, then it's more familiar.
I love that you just said play too, because it removes like, okay, picture your next level. And you're like, well, could I get there? Could I get to my next level? But there's this, you're like playing. No, I want to play and I want to be this person. Like we used to play dress up, Barbie, Ariel, Disney princess, like very easily when we were little. And I think playing allows you to be like, ooh, that'd be fun. Ooh, I could wear this outfit. I could be at this party. This could be my house. I could be throwing the party. Like you said, it just allows you to take off anything that would restrain you.
And then when you give yourself the permission to play like that, and you start doing it every single day, it almost feels natural.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem so hard. And you are also primed for your day because you're operating from this high vibration and you're attracting things that are like in that energy and that vibe. Yes. And you're happier. Like when you maybe like, especially when I moved here, I remember how financially it was so hard. Again, I had negative money, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
and then like I'm in LA and I'm like going to like working on building this business, and I'm like around people who have such levels of wealth, and I had to get so abundant with everything else in my life, like my health, my energy, my friendships that I was creating, the vision I had, and that vibration would start to attract wealth and money in other ways. And then you attract in those abundant opportunities that then equate to the wealth. But when you get there, it's so wild, because when you start visualizing every day, it becomes so real that when it happens, it's like I've been here before. And it's not so foreign.
And I believe that if you do that, you'll most likely keep the things that are in your life then, because it won't be like,
wait, I don't know how to be around this. I don't know who I am with this. Like it feels natural. So you're not going to push it out of your life or sabotage it because you've just been waiting to go there.
And it goes into the beliefs, right? It's like throughout this visualizing and this dreaming and this playing process, you need to be, this is where I'm big on like affirmation, journaling, and
tell me some of your affirmations.
Beliefs. Oh my God. At different seasons of life, they are a little bit different, but opportunity is magnetized towards me at every take I turn. Ooh.
So good.
That's like too real. Because then you, sometimes I'm
you're like, I actually might need a boundary with my mantra. Aligned opportunities that fit in the perfect bucket of my day.
That's what it is now. But when I moved here, it was like opportunity is magnetized.
Any and all. Yeah.
Anything. Prosperity and wealth or abundance comes naturally to me. It was like prosperity and wealth comes naturally to me because I really had a lot of money work to do. Thinking money was hard to make growing up. Like
I feel that.
I've learned that engraved in me. Money doesn't grow on trees. That was like the biggest thing my mom used to say.
For sure. That was ours too. Like to a T.
Say that. I'm like, really, it's like still stings me, right now. Like,
yes, totally.
Like me going to get my hair done and then getting to work in the chair. It's like the old, it's like, no, do your own hair. Like, save that money. Yes. It's like, no, because now that hour, I don't have to do my hair and I can work and make that money back.
Girl, you came in here floating with great hair, good energy,
I need to learn
hair.
how to do my hair like yours. Yours looks so good.
I just can't with you, but thank you so much.
I mean it. Blessings are magnetized. I have a list in my phone. I will make up my own now. Yeah. I had them like so ingrained in my, like, I would write them on the wall. Yeah. But now I make my own up.
I think you and I are the same in that respect, that it really helps to start with like a script. It helps to start with like mantras that you can borrow from people because you don't even know where to start. And then once you get good. Yeah. Did you think of one?
Yeah. Everywhere I go, I prosper. I love that one still.
That's so good.
Everywhere I go, I prosper.
And I watch you do that. Truly, I do. I'm like, she's just out in the world like this butterfly, creating relationships and growing her business. And yeah, it's so fun to watch you. I literally on the way here, because I told you I had texted you in the beginning, because it's a
oh my God,
2-hour drive from Orange County to here, and it jumps all the time, right? Depending on what is happening on the 405 or wherever in LA. And it had jumped like way past the time I was supposed to see you, then it jumped way under, and I was like, you know what, God? I'm like, time is not real. And I know you have got my back, and I trust that you're going to give me all the time that I need to prepare for this and feel ready. So like to get there and to like sit down with you, not feel rushed or frantic, like not feel like I disrespected you and was late. And it all worked out perfectly. So I think just even getting in that energy rather than 2 hours of freak out energy, so that when I saw you, it just was like, I'm not even here with you. I'm just frantic about the whole day. So mantras, I make them up as I go. I'm like, what do I need right now? Yeah. Like, what does my brain need?
For even different seasons.
Yeah.
Like I'll stick with a mantra for like a couple weeks or a month or a whole season.
For sure.
It's so helpful to have these in your toolkit.
What season are you in right now?
Oh my gosh, such a growth. Like it's I love this question because I guess I don't have like one word to describe it. Yeah. But it's like such a growth, like not internal, but like a growth grounded state. So even with my work, like it was just Art Basel in Miami. I had like, we worked on a couple events. Like I not should have went. I could have easily went and had a stacked calendar, but I'm like, no, this is a no this year because this is not my season to go. I'm in a really grounded season where I'm growing and I'm trying to optimize every area, look at all parts of me, which every part always needs improvement, but look at all parts of me with like no judgment and ready to like face them head on. Mm-hmm. I don't know what is going on with me, but I'm so in that era right now of like, give me the truth. Mm-hmm. What do I need with my health too? Like I will run myself dry and I'm like, no more. Let's slow it down. Let's not be afraid to take a rest day. And like, cause I'm very much aggressive with my workouts and I'm in the season right now where I'm learning like, wow, my hormones need to be in check. Oh, I can't be being so crazy in the mornings. I have to slow it down for someone listening. My personality is very much like hit berries, like, and I've had to taper down.
Like
so
hit training.
Yeah. And then high cortisol all day. So I'm in this season of like, let's be our best version. Let's look at everything that needs to improve and let's do it and let's ground. Like I'm in such a season where I want to be like home. I want to be in my own world. I want to be like getting prepared.
It's a good season.
Being more in my own energy.
Yeah, because you've been out in the world and now you can kind of reap, you know, all of the things that have happened from you being out in the world. But
And
you
in
can't
order
really
to
enjoy
prosper,
that.
you need to like
It's like harvest time. Yeah, truly. You've like planted and now you can harvest.
Which season are you in?
I am in the season of believing that I don't have to work so hard to have massive success.
I love that season.
Yeah, I do too. It's a good season. So I've just always, you know, felt like, oh, things come slow to me for a reason. Like I was supposed to learn all these lessons. Well, I don't think I need to learn all of the lessons. I feel like I would like some big, easy wins. I certainly would. So that's the season I'm in, is like removing that block. So
yeah, what if it can be easy?
Yeah. What if it can be fun and easy? Like make it fun and easy. I'm a Sagittarius. Let's make it fun.
Love.
Yeah. Just what are you?
Aries.
Okay. Is that
fire?
We're both fire signs. Okay. That's why we like each other. Well, there's many other reasons, but all right. So I want to know, because we got to wrap up, because I can't believe where time even went. What is one thing you're grateful for, one thing you're excited about, and one thing you're manifesting?
Wow. Good questions. One thing I'm grateful for. I'm so grateful for like family and community, friends, like family and friends. Like friends that feel like family, and my family. Like they're my ride or dies.
You've got a great.
You do too. You were like, your dad reminds me of my dad.
Yeah.
So really, truly grateful for family. I'm excited about, we're doing our next big Coffee and a Good Vibe industry event in the new year. I'm so excited. We've never done a January Coffee and a Good Vibe LA. It just worked out that way. We were supposed to do it at the holiday time, and then we're like, you know what? Let's just make this epic and push to the new year.
Yeah.
New year, new vibes, new you. I'm so excited for it because community, like I pour my heart and soul into these, and they really take it out of me. A little bit, obviously nervous that I'm doing it in the new year.
It's gonna be great.
Like I'm like gonna be it. It really runs me dry, but maybe it doesn't have to. It's going to be fun and easy.
Exactly.
But I'm really excited for that because, you know, the impact of bringing together community in a meaningful way, the fulfillment that comes from that is like no other feeling in the world. And that happens after the event. Yeah. Like you feel it in
for sure.
So really excited about that and what that's going to come, because we've been working so hard on it. And then I'm manifesting. So with my year this year, it was really like intense. Like a lot of like every day, 5 a.m. to like and next year I want to live a life by design truly. Like what I say, entrepreneurs, you're living a life by design, but I want to really have more space in my schedule and to see all the fruits of all the things I'm working on right now, with the boundary setting, with growing a team, with trusting in a team, delegation. Yeah. I want to see that all play out. So I'm manifesting in the new year to like come at me and have such a different daily schedule where I have like, maybe I do no phone till 8 a.m. and then, or 9 a.m. Yeah. Maybe I have all these cool new practices that are so epic. I'm really manifesting that, and I'm excited because one thing I'm about to do, and all the ladies, everyone listening should do this. I'm right now writing out my dream day. Like, what does that look like? Yeah. How do I wake up? What am I doing in the afternoon? What am I doing at night? What am I doing on the weekend? Who am I around? Like really getting clear on what that dream day looks like. So hopefully next year I'm manifesting that'll be my day. Yes. Oh my God. So good. I love that so much. Thank you so much for coming on. Where can we follow you? Where can we get more? Best place, Instagram at Ayesha Sehra, and Coffee and a Good Vibe at Coffee and a Good Vibe. Instagram is honestly the best. It'll direct you everywhere. Yeah, because you'll put all that stuff up there. So, and if you guys are in LA, you have to go and check it out. It's so much fun. It's such a good vibe. So, and there's a lot more than coffee there too, you guys. So yeah, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for coming on. This was so much fun. It's so fun. We got some girlfriend time and got to record it. So no, this was a great catch up. Yeah, now we'll add food to it another time. So. Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys, definitely go follow her, check her out. She's so amazing. You can learn so much from her. And until next time, earn your happy. Bye, everyone.